We're up. All right. You ready? All right, we're here with our final press conference of the day. 2016 KPMG Women's PGA Championship winner Brooke Henderson. Brooke also a winner this year on the LPGA Tour in Los Angeles, making your 7th KPMG appearance. What are your thoughts here on Atlanta Athletic Club? We're hearing it's long, a little wet right now, but a good major test.
Yes, the course is absolutely beautiful and in great condition. As you mentioned, it's a little bit wet, but I'm sure it'll dry up over the next few days. But just an amazing venue, and I'm really excited to get to play this golf course the next few days.
What are your thoughts about the golf course? How much of it have you seen, and how do you think it's going to set up for you this week?
Yeah, the two nines play very differently, actually. Visually off the tee, it's two very different styles of play, so that'll definitely be interesting and hopefully get a good strategy together to play it well. But I'm excited that it's playing long. Hopefully the length comes in as a bit of an advantage for me, and I feel like my ball striking is trending in the right direction right now, and that's always very key, to give yourself lots of good birdie looks, and especially on a hard golf course. The better you hit the ball, a little easier you put it on yourself, so hopefully that'll be the case. And, as you know, I've been trending well with my putting over the last few months, putting in some extra work on that, so that always needs to show up on Sunday of a major championship, so hopefully it does.
What do you mean by two different nines? How are they different?
Just on the front nine, lots of times the bunkers are up the right hand side, and as long as you're left of them, you're good. And then on the back nine, there's bunkers on both sides, and you kind of have to, hit a little bit straighter in between them.
Interesting. We'll open it up for any questions. We'll start here. Anything from Louise or Beth Ann?
Yeah, the million-dollar question. Is your sister going to be back this week?
We're just kind of waiting and seeing, but I hope she's back sooner than later. I definitely miss her. We definitely make a great team, so, hopefully sooner than later.
Do you think it's possible this week?
Maybe, yeah. We're, like I said, it's just kind of at the point where we're just waiting, and hopefully things go the right direction soon.
And what was the toughest part last week of going out there without her?
I think a little bit of confidence. Just we've worked together for 5 years, I guess, and she just knows me so well, so things are very easy. Where Everett was great, and he did a really great job. I didn't play that well, but he was right there for me and helped me out a lot. I think just explaining what I wanted to happen and speaking my mind, where normally, Britt kind of knows what I'm thinking already. Mm-hmm. So that was probably the biggest challenge. And, somewhere down the road when I do have another caddy, I just have to remember, to, speak clearly and really explain what I'm trying to do.
So something is happening with Canadian golf in the last year and a half, 2 years, no? I mean, in the women's side with you, and then Corey Connors and Mackenzie and all that. And this is in the middle of all the restrictions of COVID, no? So what's going on? How that this happens? I mean,
the Canadian golf has definitely, it's trending in a really great direction right now, and I feel like the Canadian national team has a big part of that. There's great coaches up there. It's a great program that I was a part of when I was 14, and Corey was on the team, and so was Mackenzie, and teammates with me, so that was really cool. And I feel like, they just have great program, great strategies in place, and it really helps you prepare for the tour. And even, on the women's side, there's a lot of great players on the Symetra Tour and just trying to get their way onto the LPGA Tour. So I think, great things will happen in the next few years.
I understand part of your strength and your steadiness in golf comes from being a goalie in hockey. So I wonder if that's the secret for a lot of Canadians in golf.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like all hockey players that turn to golf, usually hit it pretty far. Maybe there is something to that.
I know he didn't necessarily have the final round he wanted, but how cool was it to see Mackenzie playing so well at the U.S. Open last week?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always fun to see the Maple Leaf near the top, especially in a major championship like the U.S. Open, and hopefully I can follow in his footsteps and get into the final pairing this week.
And speaking of the Maple Leaf, we're going to open things up here to Adam Stanley. at home in Ottawa. I'm trying to see, we're having some technical issues, and he may not actually be able to speak right now. So, Adam, I might need you to text me your questions, and unfortunately, I think that's going to be for everybody on Zoom right now, for Douglas and Shane as well. If you don't mind dropping your questions in the chat or onto my phone. While we're doing this and waiting, we're coming up, the Olympic teams being named after this week. You're locked in. You're locked in for a trip back to the Olympics. What does it mean to you to be able to represent Canada on the international stage?
Yeah, to go to Rio in 2016 was honestly a dream come true. As a little girl, I always dreamed of being in the Olympics, somehow being an Olympian. Didn't know how I was going to get there, but then, golf came back in. And, I worked really hard to get on that team. And, just being amongst the best athletes in the world was an incredible experience, and in the Olympic Village, and just watching them train and compete and, party afterwards, it was pretty cool. This year will be very different, a lot more strict, as it should be for COVID purposes. But I'm definitely honored to go and be with Elena Sharp and represent Canada, and, hopefully this time play a little bit better, and hopefully one of us both walks away with a medal.
Awesome. Real quick, I'm just going to let the group here know it allows me to let people chat, but it doesn't let me unmute anybody. That's what's going on my end. But I do have the question in from Shane Ryan. And Shane, we actually thought alike. It was one I was going to ask you, Brooke. We just announced the new KPMG stats program and everything that's been rolling out over the last few weeks. How do you foresee that program helping you as you get to put a few more hard numbers and some hard data points onto your game?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great, to see where your flaws are. Sometimes you think that you miss a lot of left to right putts, but when you see it in writing, it really confirms that, and you know exactly what you need to work on. And, I think it'll be great, too, for the fans to really see, each player in much more detail. I think that's exciting for us as professionals and also the fans.
All right. First off, Adam Stanley says you have a great red and white ensemble today. First question, how are you feeling coming in this week? You said missed the cut last week and then withdrew. I know you had a bit of a cold the week before that, but how are you feeling as you head into this major week?
Yeah, unfortunately I had to withdraw in San Francisco, which wasn't very nice. And then, I think I was just still on the recovery last week, but I'm feeling much better now, and I feel like confidence may have shifted a little bit, but I still have played really well this season, and I feel like over the last few days I flew home back to Florida after the miscut last week, and just kind of got a couple of days to myself to rest and to regroup and practice, and I feel like I'm in a much better place. And this championship has always meant so much to me. It's always been very special, and so I'm just excited to tee it up on Thursday and hopefully get 4 solid rounds together.
Sei Young mentioned how cool it is when she pulled in and saw her face up there. And does that ever get old, seeing the celebrations of big wins like that?
I love it, especially, at a major championship, to come in and know that you've won before and to see your poster. It's pretty special. At the U.S. Women's Open, I always look at all those great champions, and so hopefully I'll be able to add my poster to that one day, but to have it here is very special.
And I know this is a new golf course, one we've never played at before. Not sure how familiar you were with it before you came here, but what do you think is going to be the key to success for you this week on this challenging golf course?
It always comes down to short game on the weekend, but, to put myself in good positions, it'll be ball striking, and that's definitely my strength, so I'd like to take advantage of that and put in a little bit of work this afternoon on the range and again tomorrow, and hopefully my ball striking is right where it needs to be, where I can hit a lot of fairways, hit a lot of greens, and then when the birdie putts are there, hopefully I can capitalize.
Awesome. Do you have anything else here in the room, Beth Ann?
I have 2 questions. The first week for Rangefinders, how do you feel about those? And then the second question is green reading books. The PGA Tour is voting to ban them. Are you a fan? Would you like to see the LPGA follow?
Yeah, the Rangefinders is very interesting. I feel like it'll be a lot easier out there to calculate numbers, and maybe a little bit more confidence because for sure that the number is right. It'll definitely be a big adjustment come Thursday just because you're not used to that, but I think moving forward it will be a good thing. And the green books, I understand why a lot of players don't agree with them and why the PGA Tour is possibly banning it next year. At the same time, I use one, so I really like it. And I feel like, yes, it is definitely an advantage, just as like rangefinders are. But I feel like they've been in play now for a few years, and it seems to be okay. So that one, I hope that the LPGA doesn't ban.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We've got one more question in off the Zoom. What do you think is the most challenging part of this golf course? With an aspect, anything about the golf course?
Well, with any major championship, you hit a tough shot, you're going to be in a tough position, and you're going to struggle to make par. So, yeah, just like any major, you got to hit it well to succeed. But here, you know, if you get short-sighted, if you try to cut corners, it could end badly. So, you know, have to stick to the high side and the correct sides of each fairway and greens as well.
Well, I hope you find the high side. I hope you find the correct side. And have a great week out there. Thanks so much, Brooke.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks. Yeah.